Some devastating news could be coming to the Derby County fans soon as we head into the game against Stevenage at Pride Park. Now, a lot of people will remember James Collins went down during the game in the first half, I believe it was, against Exeter the other night. We obviously went on to win 3-0, but that injury could be a lot more severe than first thought. Obviously, James Collins carried on in the game, but he could be out for the rest of the season. He's having a scan today. It is a very, very important 24 hours, according to Derby County Rams TV reporter Owen Bradley. I'm jumping in the middle of this preview to make sure you all hit that subscribe button down below. It's completely free and really helps out the channel. I'll let you get back to the video now. So, aside from James Collins, let's take a look into this Stevenage fixture. It's a very, very important game for Derby County as they look to extend their gap in second place to Bolton in third as a way to try and cement themselves in that automatic promotion place. Now, there's 14 games to go in the season and the next two for Derby are pivotal. We have Stevenage at home and then Barnsley away, and these are two mega important games. So, shall we get into looking at Stevenage, looking at the head-to-head and how both teams are doing in the league so far? So, as I've previously said, Derby are facing Stevenage this weekend. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff at Pride Park Stadium. Now, this is a massive game for Derby County. If Derby can win this game, they can extend their gap to those teams in the playoffs and hopefully keep that gap to Bolton. Now, you can see on the head-to-head that Derby fell to a 3-1 defeat earlier this season away at Stevenage, and really that was the catalyst for Derby's season to get started. That 3-1 defeat, there was commotion with the fans from Conor Hourihane and some of the staff, and the fans weren't very happy, and that day it just wasn't great. The performance wasn't quite there, and it really felt like it was pretty much the door. It was either the beginning of the end, in my opinion, at that point, because it felt as if the fan base had lost trust in Warne. And to be honest with you, I think some people still don't. But not long after this game, David Clowes gave his full support to Paul Warne, agreed to back him in the transfer market, which he did and he didn't. In my opinion, obviously, we kept Max Bird and Cash until the end of the season. We extended John Jules, Niambi and Mendes Lang and Erin Cash in. And we obviously bought in Ebo Adams and Corey Blackett-Taylor. But obviously, we're missing that number 9, which could become prevalent if this James Collins injury is as bad as first feared. So we're now going to take a look into both teams' recent form and see if Derby can get one over on Stevenage. As you can see on the left-hand side, Derby have won 3 of the previous 5, collecting 10 points out of a possible 15. Now, personally, there's 2 games in there that Derby should have gone on to win. Obviously, the performance at Reading was dire. The performance at home to Shrewsbury, in my opinion, wasn't there. But we could have won both games. It's just one of those. And if you look over on your right to look at Stevenage's form, they've won 2, drew 1 and lost 2 of their previous 5 games. Recently losing to Bristol Rovers, where Chris Martin, former Derby County player, got on the score sheet. They've also recently drew with Port Vale and they lost to Reading. So it's obviously important that Derby come into the game on the front foot, especially at home, get the fans on side, because that's going to be mega important for closing out this season, especially with the home games, because that is where we are faltering at the moment. Now, we're going to take a look into the League One table and see how big of an impact this game could have on the top end of the table. So, as you can see here, Derby County are sitting in second place, a game in hand on Portsmouth, but they are 6 points behind. They also are 2 games ahead of Bolton, who are just a point behind. And then there's Barnsley in 4th with 57 out of 31. So they've got a game in hand. And it's, for me, we're in a good place, but we just need Bolton to get those games in hand out of the way, because we need them. We need to know where we stand, in my opinion. Now, I think them having 16 games to play in what two and a half months, because I think the season ends at the end of April, is going to be mega difficult on their squad. I do believe Bolton have one of the biggest squads in the league, but Derby have to make the most of that when they have a week in between to make sure that all the players are fit and firing. You look at Stevenage down in 7th. They have a game in hand on Oxford, and if they beat us, they would find themselves back into the playoff places. So obviously this game could have massive repercussions for either side. It could send Stevenage on a run to cement themselves in the playoff. It could keep Derby in those automatic promotion places. Now, based on our performances this season, I do not believe that we deserve to be second, but we're playing an effective style of football that gets results. We've all seen it. Yes, we've lost and drew some sloppy games, but it gets results. We've won 19 out of 32 games. I believe we're the division's second top goal scorers and have the best defensive record in the league. So the style of play is clearly working, and it's one which Paul Warne is going to continue to do. So obviously it's going to be a difficult game. We're going to now take a look into Stevenage, and then we're going to have a bit of a further conversation into who could replace James Collins in that number 9 role if Collins is out of action for this weekend or for the rest of the season. Personally, I've not got high hopes. If he's going for a scan and he's still sore, that's obviously not what we want to hear. But let's take a look into Stevenage, see if they have any familiar faces and who Derby need to look out for. So a lot of fans will know Steve Evans, the 61-year-old manager at Stevenage. He's done a magnificent job since taking over with them around 2 years ago in March of 2022. He had an absolutely amazing time in League 2, getting them promoted to League 1. And we all know about his fist pump malarkey. Now, he can't take it when it goes the other way, as we saw recently with other teams celebrating on Stevenage, but he loves to do it himself. Now, I think he's one of the masters of dark arts in football. I believe he's a brilliant manager for someone like Stevenage. I think he's got all the attributes of what they need. And as you can see, he's averaging 1.8 points per game since taking over the club in 106 matches. That is a long time for a manager these days. He's won 56 of them, he's drew 23, and he's lost 27. And he finds himself battling for the playoffs in his first season in League One with Stevenage. I'm 100% going to butcher this name, but Giani is a player who I remember from the first fixture. Very, very dangerous centre-back. He wins everything. He is their version of Curtis Nelson, in my opinion. He's brilliant at winning headers. He causes problems for backlines. And for me, I think this may result in Derby resulting to a back 3, because I feel like at set pieces, Derby are going to want to have more men in the box to make sure that someone like Giani is shut down. Now, obviously, we've got Erin Cashin, we've got Curtis Nelson and Sonny Bradley. We have plenty of players who can cover those positions and make it difficult for Giani in the defensive areas. Now, you look on here, you look at the FootMob rating and you see Giani. He is considered their best player by FootMob. And to be honest with you, from what we saw back in, I believe it was October, he was absolutely pivotal to them winning that game, in my opinion. Wins loads of headers, is a brilliant, brilliant player, in my opinion. I don't think he's quite got the capabilities of doing the next level, maybe, but I think he's always going to be an effective player because of his aerial attributes. Now, you only have to look at now onto their top goal scorer in Jamie Reid, collecting 17 goals this season, by far their top goal scorer this season. Now, the next one on the list is Elliot List with just 4. Jamie Reid has 13 more goals than Elliot List, and it just shows how important he is to their style of play and being that focal point as the number 9. Now, other players we need to look out for are Jordan Roberts, Nick Freeman. It's good that we shut down their attacking outlets to make sure that we can cause our problems on their defensive end. Now, we're going to take a look into my team predictions. I'm going to do 2 for this preview because I'm not 100% sure if Collins is going to be fit or not. And then we're going to talk about James Collins and who could replace him. So here is my team if James Collins is fit. Now, I'm going to do another one in a moment. if James Collins isn't fit, which will be a completely different system, and I'll explain it all in a moment. Thompson's in there to replace Conor Hourihane, who is a doubt for this weekend. Corey Blackett-Taylor replaced by Tom Barkhazer, and Blackett-Taylor is also an injury doubt. And Sibley in at left back because, again, Callum Elder is an injury doubt. It's getting to that point of the season where it's tough on the bodies and some of the players might not be able to make it through. Now, shall we look at an opposite team selection based on if James Collins is injured? Now, this is the team based on the injury doubts for the game. Now, obviously, we're looking at Conor Hourihane in midfield. Obviously, an important member of the team. He's played almost every game this season. Him being injured could cause a problem, so I'd replace him with Liam Thompson. There's obviously Corey Smith available, but I'm not sure if he's yet fit enough to start and play an entire game. You look at the front two, and now, don't get me wrong, both players are very capable forwards, but they're both wingers. And do I think that they're going to be Do I think that they're going to better James Collins as strikers? No, but both Mendez-Laing and Barkhazen have played up there before. They can cause problems because they can drift in and out. You've obviously got Thompson who can go through the middle. You can have them third-man runs. But I do think if we're lacking a James Collins, I think we are going to go to a back three because we haven't got a number 9. Dejan Brown's out on loan. Waghorn's injured. Washington's injured. Collins potentially injured. So this is my lineup if Collins isn't fit and if Hourihane isn't fit, etc. So let me know down in the comments what your team would be and let me know who you think should replace James Collins as that number 9. So bringing this preview to a close, obviously I hope that we can get one over on Stevenage this weekend. There will be a matchday vlog out straight after the game, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled on the channel for that. Make sure you've hit that subscribe button. Let me know your score predictions down below, and I'll catch you in my next video. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.